All right, so I'm here today to talk about a side project that I've been working on, which is the digital magazine. So ROOAR is a digital magazine for female entrepreneurs. It's currently distributed via our website. It's also available via Issue, which is a digital publishing platform. And it can also be found on Virgin Australia in-flight entertainment network now. So I'll just go through a few details about it. It's free to download, so you just enter your email address and you can get access to the magazine. We publish quarterly. Each issue is around 70 to 100 pages per issue. And we're up to issue 7, which is out next week. So some stats. At the moment, we've got around 5,000, or just over 5,000 subscribers. We're at just about 20,000 page views per month, and we're 5,000 views on the Virgin Australia network. So we're second most read on there. So it's quite a new thing, the entertainment network, so you have to download the app to view it. So why did we start a magazine? So Anna and I, my co-founder, we're crazy ideas women. So we have so many ideas we can't control them. So basically we worked together a lot on a lot of project work, so client work. So she's a graphic designer, I'm a web developer. So we work together on a lot of projects. Occasionally we do side projects, and we did once a wedding blog. Needless to say, when we both went through very terrible breakups, we decided love and marriage wasn't for us. So the magazine really sort of started, we were just sort of talking about it, just ideas, and it wasn't until we met with a mutual business coach that we were given the permission to go and do it, so to speak. And it was perfect timing for me because I had just come back from working in an agency, and I was looking for work, so I didn't have a great deal of clients. So it was a good opportunity for me to jump into something new. Okay, so we had two main reasons why we started it. The first one was really to inspire and help our fellow business ladies. So this was our friends, our clients, our colleagues. We wanted to create a resource that people could use. The other thing was to help us promote our own businesses. So creating a platform for us to promote our own skills and knowledge and things like that. So, yeah. So we had some goals. It had to look amazing. It had to appeal to our audience. It had to be something that we would want to read. So it had to be useful and inspiring. It also had to be a clearly defined side project, so not to interfere with our existing freelance work. So it needed to be sustainable in that sense. And also a platform for us to be able to promote whatever we were doing. So the first hurdle we really faced was getting our content for the magazine. So we enjoy writing content, but not enough to fill a magazine on a regular basis. So we did a source bottle call out, and essentially within 24 hours we had enough content to fill a magazine. A large percentage of our existing contributors are from that original source bottle call out. And we also connected with our existing colleagues and clients and asked for them to write for us. We're actually really astounded that people were just throwing content at us, and it was all for free. So now we have overwhelming contributors sending us their stuff. So we have to be really careful. We can't fit them all in, obviously. And when we sort of say, can you go to the blog? They say, no, we want to be in the magazine only. So it's actually really interesting that's the psychology around it. So we have a strategy for our new contributors, and that's really based on whether or not they have a topic that we haven't really covered very well, or whether they have a big following that we can leverage off their brand to promote our brand further. So we really lucked out with our first cover girl. This was another thing that we were a bit scared about, but we approached Sarah Wilson from I Quit Sugar, and she took a really big risk on us and said yes. So no longer were we just two freelancers with zero experience in publishing. We actually had an ex-editor of a magazine on our first cover. So we had a strategy with this, and we hired a PR copywriter to put together a pitch for us. And we also made it super, super simple for her to say yes, and all of our cover girls. So we essentially send them a simple Q&A. We request to use their existing photos, so there's no cover shoot or anything like that they need to do. And we also stroke their ego. So we give them a mock-up of how they would look on the magazine. And it's actually surprising. We always get a yes. So we've now got the next 12 months sorted, and that was one of the big things that we were scared about the most, not knowing who we were going to have next. So I'll just talk quickly about the technology, and I put it in inverted commas because it is very, very basic. So we have our designers put together an InDesign. Anna creates the elements in Illustrator and Photoshop, brings them in and lays it all out. We export it as an interactive PDF, and when I say interactive, it has only links. There's no video, there's no anything special about it. It's just essentially a PDF with some links out. And to get it to the Virgin network, we need to strip all of that out because their system won't let us use links at all because obviously it's in a plane. The website itself is just a basic WordPress website with a custom theme that I've built. Because we don't charge for the magazine, we don't have to do anything specific. It's just a basic setup where we have a Gravity Forms plugin and we redirect when they enter their details into the site. So there we capture MailChimp, their details and put it into MailChimp, and then we target them for other things that we've got going on. On the page itself, it's just the issue embedded flipbook and also a PDF download. So the PDF itself is actually the most popular thing that people use. They quickly download it, put it on their iPads for later use. And funnily enough, people print it as well, so that's quite interesting. Our future plans are for iTunes. We just haven't got there yet just because we are looking for someone to do that for us. And it's not another skill that I really want to learn. So, okay, so marketing the mag. We have only just started the blog 6 months ago. And we resisted this so much because of the experience that we had with the wedding blog, because we were blogging every day and it was time consuming. And on top of the magazine, we didn't want another thing. But come December, we had so many articles sitting there. We thought, okay, let's use them. So now all of the contributor requests that come through, we filter them through to the blog if they're happy to do that. And we've got a schedule of publishing twice a week. If we ever have a hole, we recycle content from previous issues of the magazine. And we should have done it a lot sooner because it's increased our traffic by 3 times. So social media is the biggest time suck known to man. This is a big issue for us, but we've found Meet Edgar, and I'm not sure if you guys know about it, but it's essentially an aggregator that allows you to recycle content. And because we're pushing out so much, we're able to just keep on adding to it, topping it up, and it works for us. So we outsource that component to a VA who does that for us, so it takes the time off us. By no means are we doing this 100% right. There is loads of room for improvement, especially when it comes to the visual platforms such as Instagram and Pinterest. Email marketing, we send out weekly emails. We always do that without fail. It's consistency and it works quite well for us. We also aim to provide as much useful information as we can. Sometimes we do sales pitches and stuff like that, but it's consistency really is the key for it. So I'll just talk about the power of a launch. And I guess essentially when you look at the magazine, it is 14 blog posts wrapped up in a nice little bundle and put in obviously with a lot more work. So it's this thing that is shareable and you can build up a hype to it other than just having a blog post that you're just pushing out. So we've found that has been a really good tool for us to market, so we can do lead up emails and we can use that to leverage the social sharing aspect of it. So to date, we haven't spent any money on advertising at all. It's all been 100% organic growth. We do advertise our events, but that's it. So I'll talk a little bit about that later. So our first issue, we had 1,000 people sign up straight away, so 100% organic growth. And each issue, we're seeing an average around 20 to 40% increase, and that really depends on our cover girls. So an example of that is we actually go against the grain of the print magazines where you will have a cover that's a well-known person. if we have a cover who has a highly engaged network instead. So for instance, Chantal Allam from Fat Mom Slim, she was one of our cover girls, and she was the biggest increase for us in downloads because she shared it. Whereas the bigger names are unlikely to share it. So we find that having that relatable face, people with engaged communities, people who actually want to be on the cover is a far better strategy for us. Okay, the shareable content thing, like I said before, the power of the launch, having it in a neat little package, people are more likely to share it. So it allows us to sort of get out into the network, so to speak. And I guess with that as well, you might have if you see a blog post, you might only think, oh, this is applicable to one person, whereas with the magazine, there's a bunch of articles, so it's more likely that you'll share that. Collaboration as well is a big thing for us. All of our contributors are really proud to help us, and so that they share it within their network. So having that is really, really integral for us to sort of grow organically. Free is obviously a bonus because people don't have to pay, and it moves quite quick. So as I said at the beginning, Anna and I, this is a side project for us. So it's really important that we work quite well together and it doesn't interfere with our existing projects that we've got going on. So how we collaborate, and I guess that this could come across to any project that you're working on with people sort of outside of your circle. It's really to bring unique skills to the table. So for instance, if we were two graphic designers, pure graphic designers, it probably wouldn't have worked because we would have needed someone to go and build the site as well. So having those two unique skill sets, we're able to build this more so than having to outlay money to pay someone else to do it. The big thing as well was defining specific roles. So in the beginning, we were both doing editing, we were both doing marketing, we were both doing that kind of stuff. And we got to a point where it's like, well, who's doing what? So by defining our specific roles has really helped us really sort of hone in and harness our productivity. So Anna is the designer, I'm the editor essentially, so I look after all the contributors and all of the advertising and stuff like that, and Anna just puts it all together and does all of the pretty branding stuff, which makes it look so good. Another thing is really having aligned goals. There's no point doing a partnership project if you have visions of this and your partner has visions of that. So just making sure that you're refining your goals as you go. And communication, obviously no-brainer. You need to be able to tell people if you're not happy about something, so especially if you're working in a collaboration project. So we spend 4 hours a week on ROOAR, and it is basically that amount of time because Anna has 2 small kids and she needs to fit it within school pickup and drop off. And we start the day with a quick Skype call, what are we doing today? And then we just go and get it done. It's actually the most productive time of my week, to be honest, having that person sort of sitting there on the other end of Skype because we both work from home remotely. And yeah, we get so much done. So having said that, just after a launch, we kind of just go into hiding and we don't talk to each other for a few weeks. And we come back and we start again. So all up, it's around about 100 hours per issue, and that includes the blogs, the newsletters, managing the VA to do the social media stuff. So another thing with this kind of thing is to really sort of engage in your audience and ask and make sure you're doing the right things. So we did a survey, and it's quite interesting because we were heading this way, whereas our users were like going this way. So we had, we asked a survey, and basically they said, we were going for the high rating cover girls, like the traditional print magazines. We wanted people that were really well known. And it turned out people didn't want that. They want people that are more relatable, more someone that they can reach, so to speak. So they want to read their story and go, oh, I can make it there. The other thing that we found is bigger isn't always better. So we had one issue that had 25 articles, and it had over 30 advertisers, and it was a monster. It was over 120 pages, and it took forever for us to do. It took me a day and a half to proofread, and I'm pretty sure there's still tons of spelling mistakes in it. But they actually came back to us and said, it's too big, we can't sit down and read it. So it is a time thing for them as well. So yeah, it was interesting to get that feedback. So I'll just talk a little bit about monetization, and I guess I really need to sort of say that we had no real goals of monetizing it. It was purely a marketing tool for our individual businesses. But as it kind of grew, we wanted it to stand on its own. So we wanted it to remain free, and we wanted to do different ways of diversifying how we could monetize it. And the number one key was the minimal input. So if it was going to take a lot of time for us to monetize this, we would just drop it and try and find something else. So to start with, I'll just go with the no-brainer, advertising. It's a magazine. We actually we didn't have any advertising in our first issue. We only added it in when people asked for it. So after our first issue, we had heaps of emails going, we want to advertise, we want to advertise. And it was a real struggle for us because we were like, well, do we look at the print magazine model or do we look at blogs? So we kind of did a mix in between, and we kind of shot ourselves in the feet because really we priced it too low. So we were getting all of these ads and they were poor quality, they weren't the right size. And the time that it was taking for us to just manage them just counteracted the purpose of the advertising, which was to give us some money. So it ended up being way more work than it was worth. So we've raised our prices heaps now. It covers the cost, and we don't get the volume that we were getting, but it works for us completely. So I think moving forward, we will be focusing more on larger brand sponsorship of the entire magazine rather than having lots of little advertisers. We don't want advertising to overrun it at all. So that's just something to be mindful of. Editorial pieces, we have been approached by a lot of blogger outreach agencies. So they're essentially agencies that work on behalf of big brands, and they want to connect with your engaged audience. To be honest, we've only accepted one, and it was a mistake. It wasn't pleasant for us. The end result wasn't authentic, and it just went against everything in our brand. I'm not saying we will never do it again, but I think it will have to be a really good brand, and it will have to be a really good execution of that kind of situation, the editorial piece. We've been doing a lot of events lately. We've used the platform to really sort of leverage our sort of marketing tools and to get out into the community. And it was another thing that came back from our feedback, was that people wanted more in-person events. For us, it goes against our minimal input goal, and it's very time consuming. So it's not likely we will proceed with a lot of events in the future, but perhaps maybe one or two big ones a year. So our golden nugget is our monthly subscription. So this is the place where we nurture our raving fans. And when I say monthly subscription, it's nothing to do with the magazine. It's an online community, and it's called the Dream Big community. And within this community, we charge $12 a month, so you can just come and join. And within it, we do monthly webinars. So we get our contributors to come and they give a talk, much like this, about a specific topic that people want to know about. We have a resource library that we're adding to. When we're not doing the magazine, we're creating ebooks, we're creating guides, cheat sheets, tutorials, videos, whatever. So that goes in there. We also use, anything that you see that's not us on ROOAR is our community members. So instead of having advertisers paying us to promote their brands, we promote our community members because we want them to do well. We also have a highly engaged private Facebook group. So this has taken a lot of time to really nurture and get right. And it's a safe place for people to come and ask questions about their business and what they're doing. So just to touch on some other things that we have tried, we've tried affiliates. That's been good, but it ebbs and flows. So we have a lot of contributors that have some high-paying sort of online courses and things like that, and they give us like 40% kickbacks. So that's been worked quite well for us. We have physical products. We do have WooCommerce installed on our WordPress site. It's not something we push. Essentially, all of the products that are in the store are stuff that we've created to give away at our events or as freebies, as competition prizes and things like that. It does get a lot of traffic around Christmas because they're perfect client gifts for our users. The other things you could do, which is stuff that we haven't done, but you could offer digital products such as ebooks, or you could do online courses, you could repackage the content from the magazine in a different way. There's lots of ways to do it. Or you could charge for your subscription, like heaps of people are doing it, so that's another way. So I guess when I talk about the key benefits of a magazine, and it's not all about the money, for us it's been growth of our individual businesses. Anna's used the platform to develop her online training courses that she's got going on and her mastermind mentoring groups. She's used that platform to market to her direct audience, and she's done quite well out of it. Me, I'm no longer scratching around from work. I'm usually booked out 3 to 6 months in advance, and I'm able to attract the higher quality clients that I'm after. Another thing has been connection for us. We had an event late last year, and we had half the HR department of IKEA tell us how they use our articles in their training, in their organisation. So that connection has really been beneficial because we're creating this for micro businesses and they're taking it and using it for large corporates. So that's quite interesting. Money, we get a little bit of money, not enough to quit our day jobs just yet. It's also given us confidence to step out in front of the spotlight, so to speak, and put our faces to our brand. So that's another big thing, which is scary when you're just starting out as a freelancer. And the opportunities that come from it as well have been really great. So we've been asked to speak at a lot of things and collaborate on a lot of projects that we probably wouldn't have had access to before. So I'll just finish with talking about my key tips if you want to start your own digital magazine. So choose a niche. Make sure you know your target audience inside and out before you jump in. Make sure it's something you're interested in. So if you start something on weddings, make sure you're interested in love. Also, make sure you have the skills to do it. If not, make sure you've got a bucket load of capital to get it going, because if you're not going to do it right, then there's no point. You may as well just give up before you start. Having the time to invest, especially in the onset, because there's a lot of processes and things that you need to do to get it going. Be brave enough to ask. That's what got us into Virgin Australia airline network, and it's got us our cover girls, it's got us our contributors, it's got us products to test, it's got everything that we've asked for. We've had to ask for it. We haven't been handed it on a silver platter. Diversify your methods of monetization. That's a no-brainer, I guess. And have an overall goal. So if your goal for a digital magazine is to make loads and loads and loads of money, you probably need to rethink that and go back to the drawing board and think about what it is that you want to do, what you want to provide, and what market you want to give information to. So that's pretty much it. So. Speed through that.
So, any questions? I'll get someone to run the mic to you too, so we put the mic on to you and then you can ask questions.
Congratulations, Nicki. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Question with all the contributors, have you got a mechanism for how the stories are brought in? Do you give them direct access to WordPress? Do you just receive emails? How do you work that?
It is a manual process. We just pretty much ask what they want to do. We do have different areas of topics that they cover. So we have, for instance, copywriters, we have a photographer contributor, we have a food contributor. So we've got the different sort of pieces to the puzzle, and then it's just they just write what they want to write. We haven't yet done a theme for the article and said you need to write under this topic. And a lot of the contributors have their own unique style as well. So Kate Toon, she's an SEO copywriter. She has a very unique sort of edgy style. And then the other copywriters we've got have got a quite sort of lovey-dovey sort of feel. So it's kind of a good mix of who we've got. We don't specifically ask, but we check. So when we send out an email essentially and say, do you want to contribute? If you do, what topic are you covering? And then we just check it and just make sure there's no double ups. That's the process. So, yeah, cool. Hi.
Hi, Nicki. I was just interested. Do you know if you're getting subscribers outside of Australia?
It is mostly Australian. To be honest, I haven't really looked. We do have, we have heaps of people in our community who are, we've got some South Africans, we've got an American, so it is getting outside of there, but because we've only really sort of targeting so far in our circle, we haven't really looked at it, to be honest. But yeah.
I sort of missed when you talked about the Virgin Australia connection. I mean,
Yep.
I tried to reference it, but did you start right away with them?
No. So,
How did that, I guess, talk about more of that stuff.
yeah, okay. So, we were going for about, I think we got it in there July last year, and the reason how we got it in there is because we knew someone who was working on the project. So we just asked them, and a lot of people that we've seen now, I know someone who's also done meditation tracks, and she's just asked as well, and they've put it in there. So it was for them, it was new, so it's only just new for them, so you've got to download the app to get in there. So it's just really ask. No strategy around that.
Hi, Nicki.
Hello, how are you?
Hi. When you were talking about repurposing content you publish, do you find that you need to repatch that just to kind of keep it fresh?
No, a lot of our articles are quite evergreen, so it's not like news. So the types of articles that we're doing are more sort of inspirational and motivational, mindset stuff, all of the stuff about running your own business. So sometimes, I'll look before I repurpose it, and I'll go, okay, well that's probably not going to fit. But yeah, because it's such evergreen content, we can just use it.
Two quick ones. One, you mentioned something called Source Bottle. I'm interested.
Yeah, so Source Bottle is it's a shout out service for PRs and journalists. So you can go there and ask for sources. It's free. So you just jump on and just say, I can probably give you the link. I think it's just Source Bottle if you Google that. But you just essentially, what we did is we said, new digital magazine for female entrepreneurs, looking for articles, looking for people to contribute, and that's how we got it. So you just sign up, put out the call, and then people come. So if you have a small business, it's probably a good idea to get on their list, because they do, and they send out an email basically, and you can you can reply to it. So did that just cut out?
A lot of echo.
Sorry.
Just
Yeah.
another one.
Yep.
Related, but advertising.
Yes.
Did you chase them out, or did they come to you?
They came to us. They came to us. So we just had, we've just got on our website a form essentially, which collects, and we put them in a list for advertisers. And then when we release the advertising pricing per issue, we just send out an EDM to them to say, if you want to advertise, here's our new pricing. So yeah, they've all come to us, so we haven't had to source it out. But I think if we were going for the bigger, because this is, we're doing business to business kind of stuff. So the people that are reading our magazines are also our advertisers. So that's how it works for us. And when we go to the bigger brand sponsorships, we will need to probably put someone in there and approach them directly. Yep.
Any more questions? All right. Well, thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you.